I will say happy Friday, although it's not been that happy, really. I did say I was going to make a video yesterday, but oh boy, I was so ill. You know, I've gone on about my Ozempic, you know, my injections, and the fact that every now and again, because they're prescribing them to overweight people, I can't get them for my diabetes. So I was 2 months again without them. One of the side effects is when you start them up again, you get the initial side effects you got when you first started, which is extreme nausea, upset stomach, and the rest, which we won't go into. So I spent yesterday, well, at Wednesday I didn't feel clever. I didn't go to knit club. I think I told you that. I didn't go to the knit club. Even though I got my scooter back, I didn't go to knit club. I went to the knit club in the evening, but I hadn't had anything to eat all day, and I didn't even turn down the cake, which I normally, that's my treat, is a cake on a Wednesday night. Normally I eat the cake, I didn't even have that. I came back and had a wee bit of supper because my daughter-in-law made tater hash. That's potato hash, it's like potatoes, onions and corned beef and whatever. So I tasted a bit of that, just a little bit in a bowl, because I thought, well, maybe I should eat something because I'm not eating all day. Oh boy, I was up all through the night. So yesterday, I was supposed to meet my friends at the cafe. Well, actually, one of my friends had been stuck in Manchester because she'd gone to see Hamilton in Manchester. And the trains kept getting cancelled on the way back. So she was frozen to the marrow on the station in Manchester waiting for 2 trains that got cancelled. She eventually got on the 3rd one, which meant that she got home very, very late. Well, early morning, to be honest. So I didn't know whether she'd want to go anyway. And when when I'd had that night of nights, yeah, I said to her, I'm very sorry. I said, I'm not coming. I said, I'm going back to bed. So I went back to bed and I slept until 4:30 in the afternoon. I got up and my son said, did I want any tea? I went, no. Don't want anything. Leave me alone. Don't want anything. All I'd had was water. Eventually I had 1 piece of toast, because I had originally said to my son I'd have an egg on toast, but when I got into the kitchen I didn't fancy the egg, so I had 1 piece of toast. Nothing on it except a little bit of butter. Not a margarine fan, a little bit of butter. Anyway, I got back in bed again about 10 o'clock. I thought, this is bath, yeah. I got up this morning, I didn't feel too bad, although I still didn't feel like eating. I've had another 1 piece of toast. And then my daughter-in-law has made for tea some like a creamy chicken and mushroom, which I've had a teeny little bit of, but sadly, no. The rest of it has had to go in the bin. So that's where I've been. I'm sure you didn't want to know that, but apart from that, I've got nothing else to tell you. Because I never went anywhere, didn't do anything. Oh, I tell a lie, I did do something this afternoon. I did struggle and manage to go up to the post office because I had a parcel to post from an order from a lovely subscriber. Thank you very much, you know who you are. And I had to post it to America. And I was right about the postage. Well, slightly wrong about the postage. It wasn't quite £30, but it was £29 and quite a few shillings. So there wasn't much left out of £30. So I was right with quoting £30 for the postage, because that's roughly what it will be if anybody wants to buy anything. I will be showing things I have in my shed. Maybe 1 or 2 things on this dummy thing. That if anybody wants to buy anything, I am reducing everything because I want to clear the things out of my shed. And obviously Etsy has not worked for me. Vinted doesn't work, eBay doesn't work. I don't have a web page, don't plan on making one. So the only thing I can think of is when the weather's nicer and it's warmer and I can actually get in the shed. I dashed in the shed this afternoon and dashed back out again because it was freezing. And my son's saying, oh, it's a bit warmer today, isn't it? And I'm like, not in my shed, it wasn't a bit warmer. It was still flipping cold. As you can see, still got the mittens on, still got the freezing cold hand. Can't wait for March the 22nd to come around. At least if he undoes the nerve endings, maybe the blood will flow back into my fingers. My right hand is a little bit chilly, but not freezing cold like this one is. Well, I was watching Crochet Rocks. She'd been in Poundland if you're in the UK. And she's done a video on showing what she's bought, if you're interested in looking at that. She did go in Aldi, but Aldi are not having theirs starting until Sunday, 25th, is it Sunday? Yeah. I won't be going in either place because I cannot be buying any more. Well, especially when I can't use it at the moment. Yesterday and the day before, I just couldn't even do a row. I just could not do a row. I was just so off everything. I was just sitting there feeling very, very sorry for myself, which isn't like me at all. So all these people who think Ozempic is a wonderful, marvellous drug that you can eat whatever you want and just jab yourself and the weight will disappear. It doesn't work that way. It gives you extreme nausea, makes you actually be sick, and it makes you feel like, for a couple of days after you restart taking it, which you would if you take it. It'll take me a couple of weeks now to stop getting the nausea and the whatever, and then it'll start to work, yeah. Then I've got to pray that when I go with my next prescription that they have it. Otherwise we start the same old rigmarole all over again. Is it worth it? Not as a weight loss. No, not as a weight loss. I take it to reduce the sugars in my blood because I'm diabetic. It's worth it for that, and it works for that. Keeps me on an even keel. It's wonderful. But why people want to subject themselves to extreme nausea and other stomach upsets we won't go into in case you're eating, I don't know. As I said before, a lady at the library said, "Oh, I want that. You can jab yourself and eat whatever you want." No, you can't. It's part of a diet and exercise, which I can't do, program. And the minute you stop taking it, whammo, all the weight comes back on again. So you are far better, doing as I've been doing. It's been very slow going, but I've lost 4 stone. Well, 3 and a bit now because I put a bit back on. Just through dieting. It has nothing whatsoever to do with my injection. Nothing whatsoever. The only thing my injection has done is curb my appetite a little bit for sweet stuff, which is great. So, fingers crossed they don't stop my prescription in the next couple of months and we have to start all this rigmarole all over again. It's no wonder I get angry when I can't get my prescription. It's nothing to do with the fact I can't get it. It's because of all the symptoms I get when I start taking it again. Yeah. Anyway, cheers. Yeah. What have I got on today? Well, this sweater is done in a yarn called Maple, which is not available anymore. I did buy about 4 different colours of it when E. Kemp was selling up. They used to have wonderful bargains in their sale. Don't know what's happened lately, but they don't. But I got that from there. I've got another 2 colours left. I gave 1 colour to Sue in Scotland. She took 1 colour home for her because she's quite into the autumn colours, so I gave her 1 colour. I don't know whether she's actually used it or not. The beads are wooden. They came from eBay. They actually came from somewhere like Ukraine or Poland. They weren't second hand. I did actually buy them new, which is a bit of a change for me, yeah. So anyway, I haven't got much to tell you really. The other day was my big brother's birthday. Well, it would have been had he still been with me. Sadly, about 6 years ago, actually on the same day as my dog Buster had to be put to sleep. One thing's not related to the other. Yeah, he was 9 years older than me, so I wouldn't say we were close as close can be. Because growing up, I was always the little baby sister that got in his way, yeah. And then he went to the grammar school, so I had to follow him up into the grammar school, which didn't bode well because he was Mr. Brilliant and I was Mrs. Average. Well, Miss Average at the time, yeah. So, you know, I got through school with all the teachers saying, "Oh, you're Colin Buckley's sister, are you?" We would never have guessed. Following a very brainy big brother is not exactly fun. Because my mum used to compare me all the time to my big brother. And of course, I did quite well at school, as I mentioned before. I wasn't a dunce by any means, any stretch of the imagination. Anybody else's mother would have been proud, you know, of the grades I got and everything. But not my mum, no. I wasn't up there with the stars like my brother was, yeah. Anyway, he then went to university. So once again, when we moved, no, we didn't move house before he went to university. We were still in Royton in the 2 up, 2 down when he first went to university. But as he had to travel there and travel back, because he was at Manchester University, you know, high accolades, he got the grades and everything, he got into Manchester University, which is like, you know, getting into Eton or whatever. Manchester University was the creme de la creme at the time. It didn't accept anybody or anything. You had to have top marks, A's in everything, to even get through the doors. So my brother used to commute, so obviously, you know, he was gone in the morning before I went to school, and off times he'd be back in the evening after I'd gone to bed, yeah. Because, you know, I was only young at the time, so I never really grew up with my brother. It's almost like we were two only children, you know. I don't know whether anybody else has got that problem, like 9-year gap between, and you don't kind of grow up together, you know. I was always the big nuisance, you know, oh, go away, go away. My mum would occasionally ask him to help me with my homework, but he just wasn't interested, and we did different subjects altogether. And he just couldn't understand why, you know, history particularly was my, oh, I cannot remember numbers and dates. History when I was at school was all the boring stuff, you know, the kings and the queens and the whatever and what have you got. I couldn't remember the dates, I could not remember. 1066 is about the only one I ever did remember. So my brother used to get angry. It's dead easy, it's dead, don't be stupid, you know, just dead easy, dead easy. So we used to come to blows near enough over my history. Needless to say, I did squeak a pass through, but it was only squeaked. It was the lowest of the low of kind of, you know, the marks you could get. It was just on the line kind of thing. My brother, of course, was brilliant. He did modern history, politics, and I think he did, psychology or something like that he did at university. And of course he passed with glowing colours. He got his BA, he got his MA, and he got his doctorate. Whereas little old me didn't even get to university because, like I said before, Wednesday was it? I got appendicitis when I was supposed to be going to university. Didn't get there. I said to my mum I would take a year out and go a year later, but of course I never did. I never did. I met a guy, well, a boy as he was in those days, in between time, and thought I was in love. No. Maybe I was in love, but he definitely wasn't. He dumped me and went off with somebody else. So there I was. I didn't meet my ex until I was about 20, I think, when I met him. But as for my brother, we got to like each other as we grew older. And of course, when my dad was ill and my mum was ill, he was a pillar of strength. I don't know what I would have done without him. But sadly, he was diagnosed with cancer of the liver. And it would have been 2 or 3 years before he would have passed away. And then he rang me on the morning as my dog died, and he rang me and said how sorry he was, and, you know, he'd help me with the funeral, well, the cremation expenses and stuff like that, because, you know, I wanted his ashes back with me. And if you've ever had a dog cremated, you know just how expensive it is. I had him put to sleep in my own house, which cost a bomb. And then I wanted his ashes coming back. I wanted him cremated. So that was another bomb, yeah. So my brother offered to pay for the cremation. And I said to him at the time, you don't sound very well. And he said, oh, I just can't get my breath today. He said, I don't know what's wrong. He said, I'm just a bit, what did he say, a bit wheezy, a bit something or other. And I thought, well, he doesn't sound good. But never thought any more about it. Until about 1 o'clock in the morning when I get a message from my niece. She said, my dad's gone. And I said, gone where? You know, typical answer from me, gone where? What do you mean he's gone? I thought, he's a bit too old to pack his bag and leave, you know. She said, no, he's just gone. And apparently he was sat at his desk in his office and he was talking to his youngest daughter, who was up at the time. Because she lived in London, so she was up visiting at the time. And in the middle of talking to her, he just slumped off his chair. So she's like, oh my God, you know. Her mum had gone out into they've got like an annex, an outhouse. She'd gone to put some washing in. So she's shouting to her mum, because her mum didn't hear. So luckily she had her mobile with her and she did dial, you know, 999 for them to come. And fortunately they came within seconds, really, it seemed like. She said it didn't seem like a minute before the ambulance turned up. And they did work on him and they got what they call a ROSC, which is, you get the heartbeat back. So they rushed him out into the ambulance. But then they came, by that time, my other niece had flown over from where she lived to be with her mum and her sister. But they came back in the ambulance and they said, we're very, very sorry. You know, he's gone. So that was a big shock, absolutely. We were expecting him to die, if you can expect someone to die. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? But he was given about 2 or 3 more years, you know, with his cancer. It was not a short-term thing, it was a long-term thing. But it was kind of a bit of how long's a bit of string, you know. So that was a huge, huge shock. So that was it Wednesday? But there was nothing to do with me feeling ropey. I wasn't feeling ropey because of my brother, but you know, it's still a shock. Anyway, we had a leak today. My daughter-in-law went into the kitchen and was practically paddling. She said, yeah, got to come down here quick. And there was some valve thing had come loose from underneath the sink. And it wasn't a big flood, but it was just dripping. But because nobody had been in the kitchen for a few hours, it had gone into a big pool, yeah. Anyway, he's managed to sort it, thank goodness. But he spent all day doing some work on the camper van. I think I told you the camper van wasn't a brand new bought camper van to us. My son bought an ex-ambulance and there's rigged it all out himself. So he's had a few issues with electrics and different things like that that haven't been working. And they are hoping to go away this, well, it'll probably be just Saturday night, yeah. But whether they'll go or not, whether he's finished all his jobs, I don't know. So I am hoping that they take the dogs. And then I can have a quiet live, yeah. Not that they were that bad, the last live I had with the dogs. They were quite good, weren't they? They didn't bark at all, I don't think. Did they bark once? No, I think they were quite good. Of course, Rosie has been on high alert all day because she's barked and barked because Mum and Dad were in the camper van and she was in the lounge with me looking through the window. And every time she barks, the little one joins in. And the little one had a bone. It's one of those proper hard bone things that you fill with treats occasionally when you want to leave them, you fill them with treats. But she carries this bone around with her. And she just wants you to try to take it off her. And when you try to take it off her, she goes into the snarl mood, you know, that kind of mood. And yet she keeps coming back to you to want you to try to get the bone off her. It's a game. But I appreciate having my dead fingers. I do appreciate having all of my fingers, dead as they may be, so I don't really fancy her snapping at me, and at me. So I've got this on because I'm actually cold, I haven't lit the fire. My son's been out all day, so as he hasn't lit the fire, by the time I sort of settled and did everything like that, I thought, oh, it's nearly 9 o'clock now, I don't want to light it now because it's a bit late. So I put an extra layer on. It's like a Ruana or whatever. I got it years and years ago off eBay. This one and the cream one been the best things I ever bought. Lovely and warm, yeah. I actually crocheted a Ruana for my sister-in-law. Don't know whether she's still got it. It was in a gorgeous shade of aubergine. And it was a really intricate pattern. It took me forever to make it for her, because it's a great big wide back. It's like making a big poncho thing. And then you have two pieces that go down the side. It took forever. And it was quite expensive because I used a really, really decent yarn to make it, yeah. None of your rubbish, Sister-in-law. Give her the best, yeah. I hope she's still got it. I should have thought before she moved house and she was downsizing. I should have said, if you don't want that Ruana, give it me back, yeah. But I never thought at the time, and no doubt it's been gone to the four winds somewhere or other, I don't know. Because she obviously doesn't need it now. Because she's in like, I won't call it an old folks complex because I know she's 83, but it's a self-contained flat that's like above an old folks complex downstairs. But she's self-contained, she does her own cooking. She doesn't have to, she can go downstairs and buy something from the, the restaurant downstairs. But she tends to do her own cooking, and she does her own cleaning at the moment. But she has got the option of paying extra and having a cleaner and having meals, well, kind of meals on wheels, if you know what I mean, from downstairs to upstairs. But that will cost her quite a lot more money than... I mean, this place in London is not cheap. She sold a 3-bedroomed house in Middleton for quite a substantial amount of money. And it's bought her a 1-bed place down in London. And she still has to pay monthly, for the upkeep, the electric, gas and everything. And the garden's being done, the windows being cleaned, all that sort of stuff. The stairs and being hoovered and the lift being kept in order. She still has to pay a sort of fee each month, yeah. But she's quite happy down there. She's joined a book club, she's joined a walking club. She's a heck of a lot fitter than me at 83, I tell you. Well, I think she's 83. She's either 83 now or 83 in April, one of the two, yeah. She was a similar age to my brother. Just trying to work out how old my brother would have been. He was born in 1938, I beg your pardon. 1938 he was born, so I'm no good at maths. So you can work out how old he was, and I think my sister-in-law may be a year younger, don't know. Either way, they're in their 80s, wouldn't they? They would have been in their 80s, yeah. I still talk to my cousin, he's nearly 90, still talk to him. And I've got another cousin in Scotland who's doing the family tree. I'm really interested in what he's finding out. I mean, so far he's found out there's a Butterworth Hall. Well, there's 2 Butterworth Halls he's found out. And there's also a town called Butterworth somewhere in, I think it's South Africa or somewhere. It's amazing where these Butterworths come from. That was my mum's maiden name, in case you're wondering. Yeah. I was a Buckley. I haven't done any more on the family tree on my dad's side. It's a lot of money to join these Ancestry.com places. It's a lot of cash. Which, when you're on a budget, it's just how desperately do I want to know. He's doing the Butterworth side of the thing, so yeah, I'll let George carry on and do it for me, thank you very much, yeah. He's coming up with lots of interesting things, yeah. I don't know whether any of you have ever done your family tree. If you found out anything. So far, we haven't discovered any felons or murderers or anything. Not so far, anyway. They all seem to have been behaving themselves, our ancestors. But we shall see. Maybe the Buckley side of the family was the black sheep of the family. I don't know. I must get my streak of whatever from somewhere. Because I've always been a bit of a rebel. I was never like my brother. My brother, oh my God, my saintly brother. Yeah. Could do no wrong in my mother's eyes, yeah. And my grandma. My grandma Buckley that I used to go and stay with when Mum had to go to work at, 6 o'clock in the evening. If Dad wasn't home from work, which inevitably he wasn't because he used to work till 7, Mum had to go to work at 6. So there was that little bit of a gap in between. So my brother wouldn't look after me, of course. So I had to go up we used to call them up the flags, that means up the pavement, up the sidewalk, a few houses to my grand's. She always used to look past me and say, "Oh, it's you. Colin not with you." Oh, what it's like to be the chosen one. Not. Yeah. So, I was never the light of her eyes. Never, never, never. No. She was mostly bedridden, actually, my gran, when I knew her. In those days, people used to take to their beds a lot younger, didn't they? I think there wasn't the drugs around, there wasn't the whatever. She had a bed in the front room, and believe me, the front room was small. Small, small. So we had Gran's bed in there, single bed. There was a 2-seater sofa and 2 little chairs. They used to call them a cottage suite. You probably don't know what that is if you're in America. It's a tiny little 2-seater sofa with wooden arms, with 2 little armchairs that go with it. And there was a table in there. How the heck it all fitted in there, I do not know. It was a little bit cramped. But that's the way everyone lived, and that's the way, When I think about my own house, there was a great big square table in the middle of the front room. Oh, here we go. That we ate on, and we did jigsaws on, we did all kinds of crafts on, everything. So we didn't have a sofa, there wasn't room. We had 2 armchairs, and that was, and a sideboard, if you know what a sideboard is. And that was it. But this massive table covered by a chenille tablecloth, covered over the top by a fancier tablecloth, that I used to hide underneath, because I was a shy little girl. And if anybody came to the house and I didn't like them, I used to hide under the table. They all knew I was there, but I used to think I was invisible. Anyway, bye for now.